working at FMA.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Asylum. I am Novella, and I got with me today a whole crew of characters. And I'm going to go ahead and let them go around and introduce themselves individually first, and then we'll get into the details. So let's go right, left or right? Yeah.
Hey, I'm Notrixx. I'm a trap metal artist and producer. I have a personality split. I live with DID, and that's the story that brought me in here. We will, I think, discuss that later.
Yeah, cool. I'm FMA. I'm the father to 12 Gage, who's coming up in a moment, and I'm a screenwriter and rapper, and I have autism.
Cool. Yo, I'm 12 Gage. I'm a rapper. I'm dyslexic. I'm also a screenwriter, and I am the son to FMA, the person you just heard.
And together, they're FMA plus 12 Gage.
Thank you.
Thanks, Notrixx.
You're welcome.
And I'm Dreadnought. I'm the producer for FMA 12 Gage, and I'm also in a band, No Gods, No Masters. We do a lot of shouty, rappy stuff. And I have ADHD, which is super.
I guess I'll throw mine in there. I didn't realize that's how we're introducing ourselves, but I will as well. Depression and bipolar is what I have been diagnosed with.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. We're all part of the neurodivergent population.
Yes, absolutely. So this is neurodivergent, and that is themselves individually, and we'll make sure to get details on each of those so you can follow them on all their socials as individuals. As today, we're going to get into the big broad spectrum of Neurodivergent Crew as a whole. So first of all, where are we all from? We're in the States here in Nashville, Tennessee. Where are all y'all?
I assume we're going to go exactly the same order.
Yeah.
as we did Notrixx.
Let's keep it in order. We'll save us all some, because I think with all of us, someone's going to go somewhere, and we're going to get distracted hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we can shorten it for simplicity. We're all in the UK, at least right now, and I'm the odd one out. I'm from Russia, and I had to move to Turkey because of protesting against the war, and so right now I'm like the citizen of the world.
Gotcha.
But I'm also in the UK with my team here.
Yes.
Gang,
Awesome.
gang.
So how did y'all end up meeting then? If y'all are, I know you're in the UK and then for Russia, but still, how'd that all come together when y'all met each other?
Well, I met my son when he was born.
Oh, wow.
It was a really awkward first meeting. He was covered in blood and crying. He didn't make a very good first impression, but because
my
I'm such a
goodness,
loving
that's fun.
father, I gave him a second chance. And over the years, we grew to tolerate each other. But then I'll do the introduction. I'm going to just do my bit of a story, and then everyone else can do it. And then 12 Gage met Dreadnought because they were in a band. But I also met Notrixx earlier this year through Instagram. And it's like we've all come together through all these like different things. And our love of music and the way that we create things is the thing that keeps us together and like working together.
That and video games.
Yeah, and video games too.
Of course.
Every time we always find our way to video games in my interviews. I think it is a collective. People come together over video games. So we'll probably get into that a little bit later too, because we'll nerd out for a minute.
Awesome.
A-okay with that.
Oh yeah. Now, because that's y'all met. Obviously, music is a part of everything that brought that together, because music just does it to people, brings people together. You have that interest. Was it just general conversation that got you going, talking about mental awareness, or how did all this become what it is?
Well, I think
Eeny, meeny,
one
miny,
day.
Yeah, I know. I have to fight the urge to talk every single time, so I'm just gonna be quiet. I apologize, Notrixx.
Don't worry. You can do it.
Okay.
But we just it came very naturally to all of us, the understanding that we all stand out because of our mental health issues. That's both our weakness and also the thing that fuels our creativity. And so we realized that we as artists also carry a certain responsibility, because, well, the best example in our team is FMA plus 12 Gage, because the mental health conditions that they have been facing have always been a part of their brand, so to say, the things that they bring to life and what they bring to the world. And we are, I think, also building up to that in our projects, in mine and Dreadnoughts, because what we essentially can do is help other people who are fighting those demons to see that those things exist. They are part of normal, well, even though it's neurodivergence, but it's still normal to have those things, not to be ashamed of them, and also to encourage them to embrace themselves as they are and find out more about those things. So and that's what united us all, and we thought that that's an important thing to do, and this is why we all together decided to stand for that and to develop in that direction.
That was a pretty solid answer. God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Nothing
agree.
to
I
add
second.
there.
I second what Notrixx said.
I've heard it.
Fourth, yes.
Well, I always find that, for the majority anyway, when it comes to people in the industry, especially just in music in general, that is always somewhere that they can go to find solace, whether it's listening to it or creating it. So I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with what you say, because, and even if they don't have the outlet of being able to make it themselves, hearing those certain songs, that feeling they get is what they needed that day, or what they go to when they're feeling a certain way.
Yeah. No, one thing that I want to add to what Notrixx said, like she mentioned FMA plus 12 Gage, but one of the things that me and Callum, well, I just gave your name away, Callum, crap.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
12 Gage.
Yeah,
One of the
sure.
things that me and 12 Gage found that, like, we were very isolated throughout our lives, because I've had loads of addiction issues and all loads of things, and like I didn't know I was autistic until I was 36. So I spent a lot of my life just making things and spending it alone. But I found that through the process of making things, I was it was almost like therapy, and I was counseling myself, because I was getting out those thoughts that you keep hidden in your head, like, and you don't speak them out, but like when you create something, even if you don't think about getting those thoughts out, you automatically do it. It's like subconsciousness. And like I was creating these things, and it was only afterwards that I was looking back at these things and going, oh, I was writing about that thing that happened, and that thing that happened, and it was like a pattern that was occurring. And you see it like with anyone who creates, even from the people who haven't spent their whole lives creating, who were just beginners, to like the experts. They all create about the things that are stuck in this subconsciousness. So it's been a message of mine and 12 Gages to like promote creativity and use it to help your mental health. So it doesn't matter what you do. You could create a sculpture, you could write a poem, you could draw a picture, you could make a little film, you could dance. No matter what you're doing, you are like getting out those like things in your subconsciousness, and it's like that's been a major driving force behind what me and 12 Gage do. And it's like now that's like linked to what the Neurodivergent Crew is doing. So it's like we've all had these things, because Dreadnought does it too. We all use our music to deal with our mental health issues, but it's like yeah, we're all coming together to like try and just show people that like because it's really weird, because we live in like 2022 and there's so much on the news about people struggling with stuff and suicides and drug addictions and all sorts of things. But even though it's like commonplace to hear about this stuff, it's not commonplace to hear people talk about the ways to deal with it and how normal it is for everyone to suffer and feel those things. And so like that's kind of like the message behind what we do.
And because their project has already been running for so many years, they are a very good example of how inspirational those things might be for other people who suffer from the same conditions. That is the very important part, because music is the sort of the medium to help people with their emotions and feelings and struggles. So and our agenda just enhances that factor behind the music.
Yeah.
I do find with myself personally, I'm not very creative, but I would guess say poems would be the best way to say it. Lyrics or just getting words out on paper. But for me, mostly it is just like finding that song or that vibe that I'm getting into that helps with certain things that I'm feeling that day, whether it be my anxiety, the depression. And I've always said that music is its own type of therapy. So I love the idea of like generally combining that. I really want to work with more people who are aware of that and that taking care of your mental health, because they go hand in hand as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
And my favorite quote, I'm not really sure who came up with it, but I hear it from Marcus Parks the most from last podcast on the left. He says that mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And I 100% agree with that. And it's hard. It is so hard because it took me forever and ever to admit my issues and go get help, because it's not a thing in my family. We just, oh, you're fine, or just stuff it down. And then in the US in general, I think it was such a big stigma forever and ever to even bring it up. And it just now recently got to where, hey, it's normal. Let's talk about it. Has that been the case elsewhere as well, that it just took too long to come to the forefront?
Well, I think well, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk, but I think one of the issues is it's media. Like, we watch TV, we watch these series, and like people's lives are so simple and they're not complex and things. And because we get this media fed into us constantly in adverts, in TV, in film and stories and all sorts of things, we assume that our lives should be like those people on the TV. And when it's not like those people on the TV, we can't understand why not. And I think that's like a huge issue regarding it, because what we're seeing on TV are stories. We're not actually seeing real lives. We're seeing just these stories which are invented to entertain, not to educate. They're just purely there. And I think, because I remember feeling that very strongly growing up, it's like my life was going to have a happy ending. I'd meet a woman and fall in love and be married, and because that's what you're told when you're little, you're going to be happy and stuff. But yeah, I think that's a huge issue, and I think I should shut up now and let someone else talk.
Yeah, you should. So, yeah.
Whoa.
I know. It's my dad, I'm right to say it. It's fine.
I think it's the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah, shut up, Callum. It's my turn to talk. Oh, no, it's
Okay,
yours.
back
Go
you go
on.
again.
Yeah, go on, Callum.
Yeah, I think that it's also kind of ingrained into a lot of society that you should just be okay, because there's stuff to get done all the time. If you're not doing anything, then you're not being productive, and everywhere is telling you that. So it's like, go to your job, keep your head down, you're doing fine. And then films and all the media that you're consuming is then reinforcing that on the back end of it. So then at the end of the day, you just sat there in this like puddle of crap, and you're like, I feel crap, but no one around me is either saying that they feel crap or that it's okay to feel crap, or giving me an answer as to why I feel like shit. And it just turns into this massive thing, I think, where people are like really scared to ask for help because no one else is asking for help. And everything around you is saying, you're strong, you can do it on your own, you're great. And, no one can be great 100% of the time.
That's actually the reason for my condition to have even been, for even existing, because DID is usually forming through different socio-psychological factors. But the reason why
Do you want to explain what DID is a little more?
It's dissociative identity disorder. I've been diagnosed with it, and basically the mind splits in parts. I'm lucky; I only have 2 alters, but the reason behind the split is usually some trauma causing stress, but if it's being subdued and the mind is trying to find ways to cope with it and cannot find those ways, it might end up being split in different parts. So this is what happened to me. I was not allowed to feel what I was feeling. I was trying to seek help. I was getting depressed because of what happened to me. But instead of getting help, I was encouraged to stop feeling those emotions that I had, because in our family was not common to suffer or like feel grief or anything. And in the end, it resulted in me just hiding all those emotions in a separate box, and that separate box just kept on growing and growing and growing with all the negativity that was in me, and eventually it formed into a separate identity within my head, which is me, and the other alter is now the one hiding, but yeah. So if I had been offered help, if it if it were normalized to feel certain negative feelings, if it were normalized to be treated from depression in the country where I was living, things would have been very different for me.
12 Gage or Dreadnought got anything to contribute to that?
Go on, Dread. Go on.
Yeah. Thanks, 12 Gage. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, no, like, I think mental health, just following up really with that mental health and how it reflects creativity. Like, I have literally hundreds of beats and little snippets of like emotions which I'll make and I'll never release. You know, like I make music all the time, and it's my kind of therapy. And like someone made a really good point. I can't remember who it was specifically, but how it kind of just reflects your point in time. I think it was FMA.
Of course, it was me.
Yeah, and I look back on like my discography, and I was actually just flicking through the folder before, and it is literally like the tale of your life in a way, looking at the different types of beats and what you're making. And you know, I was similar in some regards, where I didn't use necessarily the best vices to deal with some trauma that I was dealing with. I did, you know, a lot of like heavy drug and alcohol use, and it very much made everything a lot worse, and it kind of made you feel like you was on an island a lot of the time. I was very fortunate, you know, to have some good friends around me that pulled me through that. And, you know, the Neurodivergent Crew specifically really helping me push my creative side a lot more, and then having the band as well, it's become a lot healthier of a process to deal with stuff making music. And it's something that I enjoy. Like, even when I'm knackered, I've done like a 9-to-5 day at work, and come home and even just make something for a few hours, or maybe I'll just play the piano for a bit and I don't even get anything out of it. But like that relief, then you get to the end of the day, you can go to bed and your mind isn't suddenly racing with all these negative thoughts, because you've kind of put it out in the music, or maybe the positive thoughts, and then you go to bed and them feelings are enhanced, and, you know, you wake up in an even better mood the next day. You know, music is genuinely like the greatest thing on the earth. I don't exaggerate that. It really, really genuinely is to me. But yeah, that's probably all I really have to input in that.
Well, as far as the project itself, mental health awareness, neurodiversity, what are y'all doing? Like, what is the action, I guess? Like, I understand what's bringing that to the forefront, talking about it. Are y'all traveling with it? Is it going to be this interview based like this? Like, what is the process y'all have for this?
We're making it up as we go along. That's my very carefully worded professional opinion. Now I'll pass it over to Notrixx, who's going to say something completely different.
No, one of the goals that we have is obviously gigging with us as a crew, because we complement each other greatly as musicians, not only as under our agenda. But yeah, I think the more access to the media we have as a crew, because there's certain stories behind each project, and there is really you know, outstanding music for each one of us, that would make it possible for us to speak up further. So this is what we are essentially doing. We're using our the responsibility that was laid on us, and like the leverage that was given us as artists to speak more about it. And yeah, obviously we're also using our music to do the same. Each of us invests a lot into our lyrics. So not only the music that we make, but also the lyrical part of it. We are all proud to say that our raps have actual meaning, and sometimes also an idea behind it that we're trying to convey to people. And that's also, to me, that's actually my mission as I see it. The trauma that made me who I am was also the moment where I realized how important music is for coping with your emotions and stress. This was like the time when I was listening to the same songs on repeat, and that's when I realized that I really want to give the world, and I want to give the people that kind of music that they could listen to on repeat and cry and just live through their emotions, as opposed to just getting rid of them and just ignoring them. And that holds true for all of us. We're using our creativity not only for our own self-therapy, but also for other people's therapy, so to say. So altogether, that makes it easier to deliver that to the world as part of the team. So this is essentially what we do. I'm not sure if I answered the question, but
you did brilliant.
It gives a feeling.
Yeah, no, another thing that really important, even if we didn't actually do anything or put music out there, even though we are doing, but even if we didn't do that, I think it's really important to stand up in front of people and say, I am autistic, I have DID, I am ADHD, I have ADHD, I have dyslexia, I struggle with these things, because there are so many people out there who just have things and like don't say anything, and just knowing that there is someone else who is in your position, who is trying things, can sometimes just give you the strength to try things yourself as well. The amount of times I like wearing I have autism hoodies, or also like just things that say autism at gigs and stuff, and I tend to find that like after the gigs people come up to me and be like, oh, I have autism too, and it's like it's such an like affirming or whatever, a word thing. Yeah, a word thing for these people. Like they see something and be like, oh, if you can do that, I can do that too. And it just gives people the courage to just try things. And it's like, you are part of this world, you're not on your own. And I think that's a big message behind everything that we do. I think that's really important, because it's so easy to feel like you're on your own, and you think all these thoughts in your head, you're like, you are the only person who feel these thoughts, and you are the only person who like feel these terrible things and this darkness and the 3 a.m. in the morning when you can't sleep and stuff. But knowing there are other people who just feel those things too is like a huge weight off your shoulders almost, because it's like you're not alone. And that's that at its core, that is what we're doing. And the music, everything else is just like, it's just part of it. But like I see that as like what we're doing. We're just letting people know that they're not alone.
With DID, existence is actually one of the crucial moments. It's very hard, until you're diagnosed, and like even when you're diagnosed, you're also like still questioning what is going on. Is that really true? Like, do I even exist? Am I part of another life? Is that life a lie? Or what am I supposed to feel what I'm feeling? And I think also letting other people know that that those things exist. I already heard back from a few people suffering from the same condition who said that thank you for speaking about it is so important. So
yeah. And with Callum, like with 12 Gage, sorry, Callum, I keep giving you a name out. I
love how you just said, sorry, 12 Gage, Callum. Sorry, Callum.
Sorry, Callum. Callum. I don't mean to keep giving you a name out, Callum. But like with 12 Gage and Dreadnought, it's the same, like dyslexia. Like loads of people come up to us regarding dyslexia and be like, I find it real difficult, but I can't speak for Callum, aka 12 Gage, or Dreadnought on those things. But 12 Gage, speak a little about your dyslexia.
I will do that. See, you should just start calling me son, because then it's just complete. It's
Callum, 12 Gage, son.
Callum 12. It's just going to win to change throughout this entire thing, isn't it? Yeah, so one of the massive things which I found with like my dyslexia, I find it so weird because whenever I talk to anyone who's dyslexic, they describe an experience that I don't have. Like I've met people who can barely read, like looking at a written word is horrible to them. And I don't have that extent. And I've met other people where it's like they can't write whatsoever. And it's really weird because what I find with me and my particular form of whatever dyslexic mess my brain is that I struggle with information and processing the information in my head. So someone could tell me to do a list of instructions and I'll flip that list of instructions in my head over and over and over until it's like a garbled mess or I've done something wrong and stuff like that. And I think that what I've got a lot is when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh my god, you're dyslexic, but you can write that. You're dyslexic, but all of this stuff." And I've told people that like, yeah, it's horrible. Like when you're in an academic setting or when you're in school, it's awful if you're dyslexic. But you kind of it gives you a different view of information. That's how I see it. So when it comes to writing lyrics, I can write lyrics and rhyme words until like give me an hour and I could sit here happily and just rhyme one word for an hour because it makes sense in my brain. And that's the thing which I want people to get from this is that everyone has their own shit to deal with, everyone has their own stuff, but we're all human, we're all flesh and blood, we all breathe, eat shit and piss. And we're all exactly the same, just we all struggle in different ways, but that makes you unique in your own way. And that's kind of what I want people to take from it. I have no idea if I answered the question. I have no idea what I just said.
But that sounded motivational.
Yes.
12 Gage is the motivational person in our crew. He
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
makes
You can do
us.
it.
My,
Yeah, thank you.
my
Yeah.
brain was, as you were wrapping that up with we all do so and so all the human basic things, but some people have these other issues that they deal with.
Yeah.
I have always got to make something funny. The best way for me to deal with my issues is to be hilarious about it. But I was talking about with depression earlier. So we all eat, breathe, shit, and piss. Like, yeah, but sometimes I do that sadly. And then other times I do it anxiously.
And sometimes you do it joyously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I have been still very hesitant about going to therapy. I've tried a few times. But yeah, that was one of the things that was discussed about how I usually hide my things behind humor. But it's just one of my favorite things to do. And self-depreciation is a thing that I probably shouldn't do, but I usually find humor in handling it that way better. You had talked, we talked obviously about the different ways of dealing with things, and music being one of them that you obviously take part in, and that's the biggest part of the radio station is music. Currently, either individually or together, do you have things in the works right now as far as music, songs, shows, or anything?
I'll go.
Should we just be quiet?
yeah. Let's all be completely silent and leave the thing.
And just imagine what we might have said in this moment.
Yeah.
Imagine. I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah. We have a cool track that we've all worked on, and it's awesome.
Nice way to be humble there as well.
No, it is fucking sick. It's the best track that has ever been written.
Yeah, heck yeah! I can't wait to hear it.
It is. At least 4 people are already fans of this track. That's
us.
And that's the only 4 people that actually listen to that track. So it's like,
wow. Oh, it's 100% hit mark. Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like off the charts. This track. That's the thing. But yeah, I think that the other thing is because we're all so like-minded. And we all enjoy the same avenues of music and the same feeling of music and the same message behind music. It's like almost endless collaboration within this call and this radio thing. Like me and Notrixx have talked about doing stuff. Me and Dreadnought have already
we
been
already
in the band.
started.
Yes, we have
Yeah.
already started. I need to start writing lyrics for it, but we have already started. And like me and Dreadnought used to be in a band together. We've already made stuff, and we're planning to make more stuff. And there's also the fact me and FMA are like live in the same flat, and we can't get rid of each other, so that's never going to end. Yeah, and we're all going to consistently collaborate, and that's what I love about this group, is that it's like an umbrella around all of us. We're all kind of united in this same message and this same feeling, and it's just a group of like really cool musicians, and you should go and follow us all.
So we're cool now.
This motivational message requires a group hug right now.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But I'm afraid that if I put my camera on, it'll freeze again. So
yeah, don't do that.
Just believe that I'm doing it. Okay. And I also love FMA that every time that I say something, I see your hand.
Yeah, you're
coming up there.
I know. Let's go into the interview and be humble. Okay, we'll go in and be humble. We're the greatest. We write the greatest tracks. We're the coolest.
Yeah. We've had like 20 minutes of humbleness.
Okay. From everyone else, not from you.
Well,
now it's time for 40 minutes of ego.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we all, I think, also what makes it different, we believe in our music. You find a lot of people who like release music and like are artists and stuff, and they don't quite believe in themselves, and that comes through in like what they're doing. And I think if you believe in your message and your stuff, it shines through. And I think that's what Callum's kind of trying to say.
Okay, what I will say about this.
Oh no!
Oh god, no! Oh god, this is where the Neurodivergent Crew breaks up. Yeah, what I would say is that I believe so much in the Neurodivergent Crew and our music and the message, because there was a long period of time when I started rapping. Like, I grew up in a small town in the north of England, and everyone around me was like, oh yeah, you can't rap, and then would ritualistically bully and take the piss out of me for ages, because at the time I wasn't that good. And I've spent years in that bubble of like, you know, oh, am I really good enough? Oh, should I really be doing this? Oh, da 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 da. And after a while, it just gets tiring. Like, the analogy that I always say, I don't know if that's the right word, but bear with me. But what I always say is, like, you wouldn't go to the hospital and you wouldn't want your surgeon to walk in the room and be like, oh yeah, I'm an alright surgeon. I'm not as good as Dave down the hall. I'm not that good, but I'm gonna work on you today. It's okay. It's like, you know, you don't have mechanics walking around like, I'm humble. I'm not the best mechanic, but let me fix your car. It's like, no, that's the one thing which it really annoys me, because I think that if you create something and you've poured an amount of time in and you've loved that thing and you've created it and it's amazing to you, it's amazing. Walk around and shout it from the rooftops. I don't understand why in society or in media or anything, it's like, oh my God, that person who creates or who raps, oh my God, he's so big-headed. It's like, no, I'm proud of my stuff. I want you to be proud of it too. There's a difference, I think, between being egotistical and being, you know, just proud. And I'm proud
wanting your father to love you and be proud of you, Callum. Is that what this is about? Dad. Is that what really this is about?
I'm looking for your approval, Daddy.
I just want to dance, Daddy.
No, right, let's stop that.
Right,
that is going to get taken out of context.
Dreadnought, you say something. Dig me out this hole, Dreadnought.
I honestly don't know how to follow up from "I want to dance, Daddy." So
that's our collab.
No,
right. I think there is a, like, just following up kind of from what you're saying though. There is a line, and I think obviously, like, absolutely, like, if you create something like you said, you've put your heart and soul into it, you definitely should be proud of it, and you should definitely wear that, you know, on your sleeve. But then there is a line, and I think this is where like people get confused with like the ego side of it, where people will do that and they'll make something that they might be proud of, but they will then use it to compare to maybe other artists, and they will try to put people down because of that, and they'll be like, well, I'm better than you because I've done this. And at the end of the day, music is always very much opinionated. It's like, to somebody could say Bohemian Rhapsody is the greatest song in the world. Somebody else could say Linkin Park Numb is the best song in the world. You know what I mean? You could literally, it doesn't matter to you. It's like nostalgia. You could see things through whatever different lens. But music is always opinionated. It's always personal. So like, you have absolutely every right to scream from the top of your lungs, I am proud of this. I think I've done an amazing job. I think to me, this is the best song I've ever done. This is something that's genuinely creative, something that I love. But then you also have to be aware, don't you, of being like, not to put other people's down and being like, you couldn't do something like this, and unfortunately there's a lot of artists that are like that, and there's especially in like hip hop, which is can be quite like battle heavy, if you will. Sometimes there's a lot of like bragging and like putting people down and stuff, and you can use that in a humorous way and you can use it in a fun way, but then there are people that will literally just try and put other people down for the sake of it. I think that's really, really fucking sad. But, them kind of people can ruin creativity in a sense. And it's like they have the right to make music as well. That's the thing that's kind of like, you feel a bit contradictory. It's like, you're clearly very proud of this and that's cool. But, don't put other people down for it as well. Unfortunately, there are a few artists like that.
Oh, God, yeah. Like, I think it is that fine line where you don't, like Dread was saying, you don't put people down for it, because the fact is that I will shout from the rooftops about how good and great I think we all are, but I will never go up to anyone else and say you're not great at what you do, because
that's it.
At the end of the day, it's like I can't think the thoughts that other rapper might be thinking. I can't write the same rhymes that they might be thinking. They are completely different and separate to me.
I think I understand what you're trying to say now, son. What Callum is trying to say is that you should just be proud of everything that you've created and just be the best version of you that you can be. And if you're the best version of you that you can be and you're proud of you, then you should be proud of your work too. And I think that is what 12 Gage is trying to say in a very meandering way.
I like that word.
I haven't
meandering
talked for ages in this podcast. I'm getting the airtime in. Okay. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but coming back to the original question,
I can't remember what the original question
was. Regarding our creations together as a
group.
Yeah.
That was what we were talking
about. We are like very, very soon we are gonna release at least like the first track, and then it will be followed by a few more. But what we are also doing, because we are all not creative only in one field of music, we actually all have some sort of vision for other sorts of art, like as the guys have mentioned. A few of us are script writers, a few of us are beat makers. We have like we love video games, so there are things that we apply our creativity to aside of music, and we all are putting that together as part of our product. So we're like the full package. So what also we are doing, and here I'm just gonna promote our Instagram page, because we've rolled it out with reels, and we're gonna keep on with some meaningful sort of content with regards to be it pictures, videos, or like the stuff that we write, because that also is important to convey your message in the way that people will A, listen to, B, they will still be interested to digest. So that's one of the things that we do. We create things aside of music that could make things interesting for the audience, but also meaningful for the audience. And so yeah, visuals is another part of our combined project, and also yeah, the concerts. That's where I can start chest beating on behalf of the whole crew, because the energy that we deliver at gigs is really something very hard to match. That was an understatement. It's impossible to match.
There we go. There we go. Notrixx, go bigger. Go bigger.
We
Yes,
blow up the stages. We actually do blow up the stages.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
that is-
shut up. I cannot do
Okay,
any more.
that is
of that.
okay. I will drag back. I will bring us back from where Notrixx went. Then what Notrixx is also saying is that like the energy that we have at gigs, we all share the same energy. Like when it comes to performances, and until you see us live, you can't quite capture or understand quite what we're talking about. Because like when we're on stage, every single one of us, we come alive. It's like the most alive we feel, and so when you're on stage, you're in control of everything, absolutely everything. You're in control of the audience, you're in control of yourself, you're in control of what's going on. And so it's like, for someone who's struggled their entire life, not knowing how they fit in the world and stuff, it's an incredibly liberating place to be. And I think what Notrixx is just trying to say is that the enjoyment and excitement and things that we get when we're on stage is very rarely seen in a lot of acts live, because a lot of people live are too busy worrying about what people think about them, while we're up there just like being alive, and this is the reason that we live. And yeah, if you saw any of us live, you would understand what I'm talking about, because yeah, it's just a party. It's just always a source of I don't know, excitement and enjoyment and stuff. It's just awesome.
It is. It's not even like in a way to like try and flex. I think like genuinely, you know, the response we've had of people over the years doing gigs, even from like small little pubs to where there's like 5 people that are in the audience, you know, to playing big gigs where we've had like hundreds of turns up. I mean, like FMA and 12 Gauge, you guys did like Autism Got Talent to like thousands, you know, and it's just like the reactions and like how people kind of like talk to us after, you know, they're like genuinely, they're always like blown away. It's always really positive. They've always had a good experience, and that just kind of motivates you just to like try and top yourself every time. And we've always done that. We've always tried to go bigger and better each time. We're always trying to push ourselves to put the best live show as well as the best music that we can make. I think it very much reflects, you know, because we do put a lot of time and a lot of practice into it, hours and hours and days of our life into it, you know, years. So it's nice to get that, like, what's the word? Reaffirmation?
No, reaffirmation. Go on, Brad. I mean, Dreadnought, I won't give your name out either.
I made it.
I would say I am very bad about that myself with all the crew here.
I honestly don't mind people know my name.
But like Dreadnought was saying, like when we came to our album launch, me and 12 Gauge spent the whole year practicing for it, like a year, and it was multiple times a week until we got to that gig and we were ready. Because like
a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was tons.
We kept going to that place. It was like a boot camp. We were like training rigorously.
Because people just treat live performances like, oh yeah, you get up in front of people and do stuff, but it's hard work, and we treat it like a job, and we treat it like it should be treated. And so because I'm old. I'm 43 years old, and so I come from the age when there was no internet, and going to see bands live was the only way you experienced music. And so I learned a lot from that. And the bands that always stood out were never ever shoe staring. They were always going out to entertain people, not to make themselves feel good. They were out there to just entertain the audience and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of a philosophy that we've taken on, and we try our very best to do it every show.
That's basically what we all stand for. That's the important part, is like that we all care about it the most, to make every person out there in the audience feel the music and possibly dance or vibe to it or anything, but like feel the music.
Yeah, your shows sound like they'd be a lot of fun and extremely engaging, and hopefully one day I can come see one live. Are y'all gonna have any coming up soon that you're doing over there? Do you ever plan on coming over to the US and doing some?
We definitely plan on.
We will come over to your part of the world. That's one
Yeah.
of our
It's one of our goals as a
goals.
collective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is to
definitely.
tour America. So yeah, that's there. I apologize, Notrixx. I just interrupt everyone. I blame my autism.
I think we're just
Are we supposed
just-
to speak out on our problems?
no, we're just equally eager about that. That's our
Yeah.
like project.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you have a gig coming up, don't you, Notrixx, in Turkey?
yeah, I do have one in Turkey, and yeah, well, so far we are just going locally, but yeah, all sorts of plans for the future year, I think.
And hopefully Dreadnought's got more coming up with No Gods No Masters soon, and FMA plus 12 Gauge has definitely got one in January. But it's like getting gigs is such hard work, and you can never predict when they're coming. So we could have one in 2 weeks, we might not do. It's like that we only have the ones that are definitely confirmed for the future. So
yeah, it's like I've had 2 in like the last 2 weeks, and then there's probably a good chance there'll be a bit of a drought for a month, and then there might be another 2 that line up, like, and then suddenly you just can't predict. Especially with Christmas coming up, I guess like it's probably going to be a bit quieter for the next month. But
yeah.
So we answered that question finally.
Yeah,
we
got
answered
that.
that question.
25 minutes after the question was actually asked. I think that's pretty good. I think we're quite time efficient.
So I have put down here at the bottom, this is the project's Instagram page. They are all individually linked up on there as well, so you can check out all their socials, follow up on those new tunes and shows and things that are going on. I think I have some stuff from Notrixx, but not anybody else. But all y'all, and then also anyone watching, if you are interested in having music play on the station, just hit us up. Novella at the Asylum Radio Network, shoot me some MP3s so we can get those playing. Again, visit their socials so you can check them up there. Go ahead and listen to them, find their shows, just get more into this project, look into it. I am beyond appreciative that y'all are doing that and putting that in people's, bring that to the forefront, give it to their attention, because like you talk about your shirt, there's that one word, saying that one piece of merch or that song. It's all it takes sometimes is just that one person or that one thing that catches your ear or your eye to just turn something around for somebody. And I think that's really amazing. So very appreciative that y'all are doing that. And I'm very excited to hear more music from all of you as a collective and individually. Like I said, we'll spend that on the station and just let everybody hear your message. And I think that's very, very, very positive and just going to help people.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. Yeah, genuinely. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Was there anything that I probably missed, because I do, that you wanted to bring to people's attention that you had to say?
Of course.
I thought you were flipping me off. I was like, yeah, that too.
No, it's that finger. Look, it's that finger.
I'm blind.
I apologize. Yeah, we didn't talk about video games.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't, because we'll just double the length of podcast time now.
Yeah, okay, let's not talk about video games. Okay.
No. I mean, we can't end it like it's all very kind of serious and maybe a little solemn, but it has to be brought up. We definitely wrap it up with some fun, because like I said before we got going, we'll get some video game talk in there with our nerd sides. I have yet to have an interview or even met people in the industry that's especially involved as the artist who aren't in some way a nerd. We were speaking earlier about D&D, getting into that. So no, I love that. We can wrap that up with, if you have one, let's talk about a favorite video game. Go in order.
Okay. Oh, no.
Fallout. I'm
Fallout.
a fan of everything post-apocalyptic. So no questions there.
Awesome. My turn?
Yeah, over to you.
Oh, thank you. Outer Wilds. I don't know if you've ever played it.
Yes.
But it's a work of art. Like, if you could create a painting which was a video game, like an actual painting, I don't know, and then put it into a video game and wrap it up, Outer Wilds would be that game. I've never played a game anything like it, but it is one of the most beautiful, enchanting, mysterious, cryptic, adventurous games I've ever played. It's stayed with me ever since playing it. It's just magical and wonderful. But unfortunately, I can't say a thing about it because the game is unlike any other game. The game is all based on your knowledge of the game. So if you know one little thing from the game, that helps you learn. And it's all about exploration. And and it's just so beautifully put together. And yeah, I've never ever played a video game before where the second I'd completed it, I wrote to the developers and asked for a job. That's how good that game was. It stayed with me forever. And I even bought it for Dreadnought. I bought it for Dreadnought to watch him play it, to feel those same feelings over again, because it's just wonderful. The only downside to it is once you've completed it, you can't unlearn the game.
Yeah.
So that's the only bad thing about it.
I really wish I could just like wipe my memory of that game and play it again, because it was genuinely such an experience. I'm sure it was frustrating for you at time watching me when you knew how to do things in it, and I'm just like stumbling across. But at the same time, that's kind of where the beauty is you start like stumbling across things in that game.
Yeah,
it made it into my top 5 easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have 3.
No, you're allowed 1.
That's cheating.
Okay. All right. So it's not my favorite game, but it's my favorite gaming memory. And all I want to say, because we brought up gaming, is that I platinumed Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS4 1 week after it came out of release. You know, when it was all glitchy and everyone was going on about it. Yeah, applaud me. Yeah, so when it was all glitchy, thank you, Notrixx. So when it was all glitchy and everything was going wrong in that game, I platinumed that game and I pushed through. I persevered, and I want CD Projekt Red to acknowledge me.
Yeah, 12 Gage wants a special trophy for being able to complete the game while it was all broken and everything.
Yeah, because I didn't just platinum it. I platinumed it while everything was breaking around me in that game. And the story of me completing that game is epic, but no one else has completed that game, so I can't tell them the story.
Yeah, I got close.
I'll just sit here.
But yeah,
I
don't know what I feel like. My favorite would probably be. It's kind of a cheat answer because it is technically 3 games, but it's in one. It's like the Mass Effect trilogy. Like, to me personally, it was like the first full like story game that I was engrossed in. Like, I remember I just picked it up randomly from it was like a GameStop or something. It was like pre-owned. I was like, cool, yeah, this looks interesting. The first one, and granted, the first one was kind of all right, but it was enough to hook me. And then the second one I was just
the second one was immense.
The second one was like the feeling, like that last mission in the game where everything you've done comes down to it. Any of your crew members could like potentially die in it, and these are the like characters that you've really built like a relationship with. You grow to like. It sounds like kind of like dumb, but like you really do grow to love these characters, you know. And I even love the third one, even though I know they got a lot of slack for the ending. I recently revisited it. They did like the remaster trilogy, and it still had that little special place in my heart, even though I've completed it tens of times, like the whole trilogy, all the different outcomes. I've seen them all, and I'm still going through it again. It was such like a magical experience. It's like I say, I know nostalgia lens for it a little bit, but it was a really, really good story as well, and just the music as well. Everything about that game, the character design, it set the bar high for other video games. So it might not necessarily be like my all-time favorite, but I think that's the one that I would want to speak the most on.
Yeah. I didn't mean to shackle anyone with the question of favorite, because I'm the worst about that. So I don't know why I asked them, because anyone ever asks me, what's your top this or your favorite that? No, because one, it changes day to day. 2, I have too many that kind of par with each other. So I understand that it's never really necessarily, well, it depends on the day. And I think I'm going to start making that, because it always happens anyway that I come around to video games in some fashion. I think I'm just going to make that my staple point for my interviews.
No, that's quite cool. That's quite cool concept, though,
yeah. It is still kind of relevant to mental health, though, because video games are an escape for people.
I was going to say about when Dreadnought mentioned about like they were his friends and stuff. I remember being really, really lonely, and video games being my only friends, and the people in the video games were the people who I was spending my days with. And there was a video. There was a video game called what was it? The Darkness. And it was amazing. It was voiced, but the Darkness, the creature in it, was voiced by the guy from Faith No More, Mike Patton, and he's so good with voices. But there's a moment and I was seriously lonely, like beyond lonely. I hadn't spent time with people or anything. But there was a moment in that game where you're playing Jackie, and he's with his girlfriend, and you're just watching a film, and you can literally just watch the entire film and cuddle up with your girlfriend. And I remember that moment feeling so special, because I'd felt so lonely and stuff. But it really, really stuck with me. And it's crazy, like how video games can give you this feeling of like just not being alone and stuff. But yeah, in counter to your question, what is your favorite video game? You have to answer more because
Today.
Yeah, today. This
I
Today,
was like, okay, well, it was nice talking to everyone. Bye. Well, like I said, things always change day to day as far as like my music taste or what I'm having my favorite with. But just because it's tattooed on my body in several places, we better go with Final Fantasy VII.
Nice. I just started 10 actually. The 10's on the PSN. It's just
10's on my ankle. I do have that tattooed
Oh,
on my ankle.
bravo, 10. I thought you were going to say Final Fantasy 10 when you said multiple tattoos, and but yeah, 10 is my favorite. I've got a poster of it up on my wall. Look, there's Tidus' face just there.
Oh, yeah.
I've literally just started it. I meant to tell you FMA actually. Yeah, I literally started it the other night.
It's fantastic, is that
I'm
game?
excited to see where it goes.
Like,
Well, that's it. The piano at the start. I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
The music's so pretty. The orchestra that goes around for them. I haven't got to see them yet, but that would be so phenomenal.
That would be cool.
It would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And then outside of that, Legend of Dragoon, it's an old one. A lot of people don't know.
I know which one.
But it's beautiful. It was done way back when, before they started really picking up on a lot of the different graphics. And again, gorgeous music. So there was literally a town that the music at the town, I would go to there on my game. It was a PS1, I think, at the time, and just leave it on there and turn it up so I could hear it in the house.
I used to do similar things. It was I used to do similar
I did it with
things.
Sonic Adventure 2 as a kid quite a lot. They had like a little jukebox section. Some of them tunes were fucking fire, man. They were great.
Yeah. Cool.
It was like Pumpkin Hill. It was like my first experience with hip hop and rap, I think. And it was a Sonic game, but yeah, it was sick.
Cool. That's cool. That's a good answer, boss. Final Fantasy 7 and 10.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. You've gained so much respect. Like, respect has leveled up now. Bing.
I win.
Yes, you do win. That's cool, though. Cool. So yeah, thank you for letting me put you on the spot with that question.
Oh, you're welcome. I always think about that too. It's like, oh man, they're gonna come back around to me. I gotta leave now.
But if it was, so let's say it was a different day, what game would you choose?
God of War. I'm feeling
I was gonna bring God of War up.
God of War.
Which one? The new one?
Any of them. Whoever I can start taking my anger out on.
Okay. So not the one with Atreus, the latest one, or like the earlier ones?
Well, I haven't really gotten to the Nordic one yet. Because I don't have a system for it, but I can replay the first 3 over and over, and then I have
I love them.
One. Just go see how you can slaughter people today.
I love games like that because like the flashing lights and colors, and you feel like really, really powerful, don't you? And like strong, and like if you're having a really bad day, it is very cathartic to go out and kill some gods. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't do that in Preston very often.
No, the gods don't come out very often in Preston. It's very annoying.
Yeah, where
no monsters there.
Pardon? What did you say?
No gods, no monsters there.
Oh yeah.
That's the issue. You see, that's where we got the name.
Yeah.
Kratos.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad that I had some people I could discuss video games with. It always brightens my day.
Yeah. It does with me too. I don't discuss them very much with 12 Gage because we just argue.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, whereas I'm kind of the opposite. Me and 12 Gage could literally go for a walk and sometimes spend 3 hours talking about like one moment in a video game.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. I prefer those moments, not arguing.
And not to like keep audit, and I definitely not to hold y'all up, but Tim Part 2. Whenever Yuna and Lynn basically sing together because they're the same body, that's a beautiful song. I cried.
Are you talking about the bit in the middle with the music video? With all the... I watched that over and over and over and over again. I cried my eyes out at the end of 10, and I was once with a girl.
No spoilers, no spoilers, please.
I'm not going to. Shush. No, it was tears of joy, Brandon, because it's a happily ever after. That's why. Duh.
It's 10 years old or more.
Yeah, I know, but he's playing for it now, so I can't spoil it. But I was once with a girl, and like she was my girlfriend, and we played for it all together, and she laughed at the ending, and yeah, she fell out of favor from that point on.
Oh yeah, you're done. Bye.
Yeah, I know. I was really, really hurt, but she did that. But yeah, I can't remember why I just said that. Why did I just say that?
Because 1,000 Words is the saddest song. In the video
Yeah,
game
sorry.
ever.
Yeah, we're on about 10 too. Yeah, duh. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. Is that bit? But yeah, sorry, Dreadnought. We won't spoil any more of Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, it is a fair point. It's a very old game, and I'm like, but it came up. I was like, you know what? It's fine to finally do this.
I was like, if you played 7, like you just got to understand also that any other game after that, you're not going to have too much of a shot value after 7. I know stuff happened in like 1 and 2, but no, come on.
Yeah.
7 was so much more dramatic.
I know.
Like
But we'll
the one
stop.
with Vivi as well. Sorry, yeah,
With who?
Vivi. He's like the little like mage dude.
Yeah.
Oh, 9. That's 9.
9.
Is that 9? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But sorry, we're going well geeky now.
Yeah, duh, it's 9.
Yeah. Cool.
God.
You're talking about staying like humble, or sometimes being like arrogant. It's like I'm usually like I don't know a whole lot, but then there's certain things I'm like I will tell you about it. Like
Yeah. No, once that information's in your head, it's hard to keep it in and keep your hand down. Yeah. But yes. Yeah.
Well, like I said, if there's anything else, otherwise we can wrap it up on video games and.
It's completely up to you. I'm happy to carry on talking, but yeah, I could talk forever.
Same.
So that's not a good choice. I'm not.
Oh
good...
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I will just talk until Usually people just walk away. I'm like, where are you going? I'm still talking.
That's what I have, and then I follow them, and then I wonder why people don't want to talk to me anymore.
They're like closing the door. Okay, yes.
Yeah, no, I've had that exact thing many times, and it's like, why are you walking into your house if I'm still talking to you? Of course I'm going to follow you, because I'm talking to you. At no point have you said this conversation is over, I have to go home. But I'm the one who's blamed when I'm stood outside the door and they're closing the door on me. It's like,
of course I'm following you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but it's like you when you're talking to someone, you get lost, don't you? So you just like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, and then before you know it, But that's one of the things with autism. You can't quite pick up on social cues, and because society is the way that it is, people don't say, "Oh, I'm going home now. Do you mind if you stop talking or whatever?" It's like, yeah. But then, as an autistic person, saying, "Do you mind? Could you please stop talking?" Then you're viewed as rude. Whereas that's the kind of behavior that I would like to let me know to stop talking. So it's kind of like it's weird. So yeah. I just try and take everyone as themselves, and like if no one's hurting me or invading my privacy, then it's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know with my depression, I usually just shut down and disappear for a while. So then when I come back, I have a lot to talk about. So now we're going on a roller coaster.
Yeah, and I suppose that the best thing for life is to have people who understand those moments and understand like how you as a person are, and like when to give you freedom and when to chase you up, and maybe when to ask how are you doing. And I suppose that's like, and like it's coming full circle now back to what we were originally talking about. And it's like those are the actions of people in society and stuff that like we could maybe do a bit more of, like just checking up on people and asking if people are okay. And maybe if someone gets mad at you one day, maybe not assuming that madness is aimed at you, maybe something bad has actually happened, and maybe just asking that person if they're feeling okay is like a good way to go. Yeah, that is counseling with F for me.
Well, I think it's very fortunate on my end that with my support group, I say my family and friends have always been really good, and then now with the station, everyone at the crew here, with myself or each other, there's never any tension on it. Everybody's there for each other, and I'm really really appreciative of that, and just like I'm just blessed to know that we have that, and y'all obviously have each other, and it seems like you probably have a good support system with your family and friends. And I'm hoping that anybody who has any kind of issue that they're dealing with or whatever it might be, that they have that. And if they don't, if you've seen this, now you do, reach out. Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing like to do with that is also like, I'm sure it goes for both of us, but if we hadn't had our diagnoses, we wouldn't know that these things were going on. And so like that makes our lives harder. And I remember my life being incredibly difficult before I got diagnosed with autism, because I was trying to fit into a world that I didn't realize that I didn't quite fit into. And it's once you get that diagnosis that you can then reflect and be like, oh, this is why I struggle. This is why I can't do this.
Agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, because even though I don't actually take medication for my ADHD or anything like that, but there was like so many days like where I would like just not feel motivated. Like there were things that I had to do, things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't bring myself, and I put it off as long as humanly possible. And it was kind of frustrating because like I kind of bully myself and think, am I just being like like a lazy fuck? And it's like, but I'm like, I had energy. So other days where I'd be like hyper focused and I would like fully get stuck into something. Like if I'm writing a song, sometimes I've been like 4 hours have passed and I've just been writing continuously. Then there's other days where I can't motivate myself to even like pick up a notepad, And I think when I found out that I actually got my diagnosis of ADHD, I think that alone was enough for me to then start properly researching it, understanding it. And I think having that understanding really, really helped me process these things and helps me kind of get on top of them as well. Like I don't need the medication for it, just the pure understanding was enough for me personally. I know some people do take the medication and it really, really helps them, which is great. And it's something I've considered, but right now I'm quite happy at this point where the understanding is actually enough for me.
Yeah.
Just following up there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a good. Yeah, that's some excellent advice there from a
absolutely
neurodivergent
understanding
crew.
it helps a whole lot, and then also not just denying it. Like I said with mine, I understood it pretty well because I took a lot of classes associated with it, and I've seen it in my family, but it was not acknowledging it for the most part.
Yeah.
But then once you do, and then you do start studying it more, hearing from people who are professionals, it does help. Like, okay, like it's just something I can handle. I'm not, like you said before, alone, and I'm not broken. I just got things I got to do differently.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the message of a neurodivergent crew. Like we're all different, and we all have different things, no matter who you are. And it's learning that and learning how best to take care of yourself and finding ways of dealing with the issues that you have. Yeah, that's kind of like what we stand for, because it's how we live our lives, and it's what we've discovered all the time. That's an excellent place to finish our FMA. Yes, thank you, FMA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not really. I turned into the host then as well as a guest. I apologize.
Thanks for the affirmation. That's the word we've been having this year.
Affirmation.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I absolutely enjoyed talking with y'all and being introduced to your project and what you have going on. Again, I really appreciate what y'all are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely thank you so much for coming on and speaking with me.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a genuine pleasure. Thank you. And you hold the honor of being the first thing where the Neurodivergent Crew has been on all together. So
I win again.
Yeah, you do win. But yeah, no, it's been a real pleasure, and it's been an absolute honor to be able to speak about our issues and our message behind what we do. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to have y'all on again sometime. Let us know again more about your shows, your new music. Just keep us updated. Everyone watching, hit up those socials like I shared earlier. I think I got it up there still. Yeah.
Awesome.
You go check out what they're doing, follow along with the project as well as them individually with their music and their shows, because definitely worth going to see and listening to. Yeah. So I'm going to give it over to you one more last time. If there's anything else you have to say or anything you want to put out there. Otherwise,
should we go through each one person like we did at the beginning?
If there's anything you want to wrap up with.
Yeah, to stop me talking over everyone.
The responsibility is again on me. Yeah, well, thank you so much for listening to us, and I hope the message that we think is so important finds the way to your hearts and can help people get to understand themselves better. So yeah, take care of yourselves and good luck.
Cool. Yeah, and I think I said everything just a second ago. So we'll pretend that I'm saying back what I said a second ago right now, and we'll all have a moment of oh, yeah, that was really wow, FMA, that was really cool.
Affirmation.
Yeah, affirmation. And then up to 12 Gage. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, and yeah, thank you. That's all I have to say.
Awesome.
Right,
that was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Go on, 12 Gage.
Yeah.
Motivational message.
Okay. Here we go. I'm just warming up for this awesome motivational message.
Pulls a muscle.
My back. Yeah. So yeah, what I want to say to anyone listening right now is that even if times are tough, and I know that they are really tough right now, to this one person who's listening to this right now, this very one person, and I know who you are, I can sense who you are. And I know that you're having a really tough day and you're struggling and it's going really bad for you right now. But just know that all of that crap, all of that stuff, it doesn't matter because you're awesome and you're going to pull through. And I believe in you.
Thanks,
and that's
Callum.
from 12 Gage.
Thank you.
You use my real name again, FMA.
Oh.
It happens one more time, I'm out.
One more time.
One more time.
And I give up.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the job as your son.
That's it. I quit the job as your son. But no, yeah. But to the people who are listening and having a really tough time, I want them to know that it'll get better. It'll get easier. And I know it seems really shit right now, but you can keep going because everyone is awesome who's listening to this awesome show. Boom. Double promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, good work. Oh, bravo. 12 Gage. Round of applause.
Thanks.
And Dreadnought.
Dread.
Yes. I guess just to wrap up, everyone's kind of said the piece there. Just big thank you for having all of us on here. It's genuinely really awesome to discuss it. It felt really comfortable. Had a really cool time. I just want to say thank you, really. I don't really know how to follow that up. Everyone's really hit the nail on the head. And I appreciate the platform for us all to discuss this.
Yes.
And I guess the band would probably also hate me.
I make people uncomfortable.
The band would probably also bite my ear off if I didn't say that we were dropping music in the next month as well. So I should probably drop that as well. I didn't actually say that before, and it crossed my mind. I was like, it's a bit too late now. So yeah, little tiny plug at the end. But genuinely, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Novella, for having us. It was really fun.
Yay!
Lots of fun.
All right, everyone. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you gained some good knowledge from this, or at least some positivity and love. And like I said, always reach out if you need to. Don't forget you're not alone. Join us again very soon. We always have more interviews coming up. But for now, we're going to peace out of here. Thank y'all for joining me. We'll see y'all soon.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.